Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Feren OS July 2018 snapshot. Now this operating system is one that I reviewed a little while ago, and it is very nice. I mean, I remember last time I really did like this system, and it has a, well, it did have back then and I'm sure it has now, a very nice desktop environment. So for this operating system I've given it 21 gigs of virtual hard disk space and 4 gigs of RAM, so let's just boot it up. Now the main updates that I've sort of picked up on with this system is the fact that it has improved application theming, so different applications, for example VLC Media Player or something like that, or Mozilla Firefox, they all apparently will blend in to fit whatever theme you currently have installed on your OS, so they don't all have different themes and it looks nice and consistent. Now there has also been a major icon overhaul, and this means that there are now new icons for most parts of the OS. Like the Software Center's got a new icon which looks nice, so has most of the operating system settings and just folders in general really. And the theme now uses a sort of light grey colour instead of a solid white, so you can tell windows apart, and I think that's very nice as well. The title bar buttons have also been overhauled to make them more consistent with the rest of the desktop environment, and is now based on Ubuntu 18.04 and Linux Mint 19. As you may have seen there a minute ago, it did come up with the Linux Mint 19 boot screen. I believe that's just a remnant from obviously Mint. Oh, here we are at the live CD environment. Let's just go ahead and install now. Resist the urge to look at all this, I'll mention that a bit later. Right. I'm going to install the third-party software, simply because in my experience that's just been better with VMs, just makes them work more efficiently. Right, erase disk and install Feren OS. Londinium, as the Romans called it. Right, I believe I got up to, based on Linux Mint in 18.04, it also supports 32-bit systems, meaning that it can, well, it's good on older hardware, I may have just mentioned that, and it has a few new wallpapers as well, like, I believe this one's a new wallpaper as well, and I really like all these hot air balloons. And in case you're a fan of this system and you do like the old icons, then they are still available for download. You can, I believe they've got a name, inspire-icon-theme-old, and there is a new warning, as seen earlier, about usage within VMs. That's basically saying it's going to be a lot slower than it would be on real hardware, and it's a fair point to put then. Now, there are also plenty of other things to be discovered within the OS, and just before I speed up the video, as I do usually, I'll just tick these ones along a bit. Here we go, and this is something that I thought I'd mention as well. In the previous video, I believe it, well, in the previous Feren OS video anyway, I believe it came up with something like OpenOffice instead of LibreOffice, and that was just a bug. This has obviously been changed around to LibreOffice now, and we've got a nice fresh photo there, well, sort of screen snip there as well. So that's just another thing which they've improved really, or the person who developed it has improved. Right, so the installation is now finished. Let's just restart. And in case you're wondering, I do have the fan on in the background. It is the British summertime, and wow, for the most part us British are just not used to this kind of weather. It is awful. It's just like, feels like you're stepping out onto the surface of the sun as soon as you need to go to the corner shop. Oh crikey. So I need to have the fan on in order to work, basically. Well, function. Right, so here we are at the desktop. Now, first things first, I do like this welcome screen. It does look very nice, and I think it's such a good idea to have this sort of thing in the OS, because it's just such a good sort of introduction to what obviously you're about to use. So you can go around and take a look at the themes or the settings or anything really. And there are optional tasks as well. Oh, I do like this. I just like, I don't know why, but I've always really liked it when you have one of these systems and it shows you all these little optional components that look really handy. I'll just close out of this one. What's next on my list to take a look at? Oh, the software center. Ah, no, but before I do that, I'll obviously show you this. This is a really clever little message. Now obviously in virtual machines usually the operating system won't function even remotely as good as it would on real hardware. Like if I were to install this on the actual machine that I'm reviewing it on, it would be a hell of a lot faster. But yeah, I mean, that's fair really. VMs do tend to be slower than the actual thing. So let's have a look at the software manager now. Did I call it software center earlier? And it has got a new icon, as you can see. Do you like that? There's a little Feren OS sort of bird thing there. This looks rather similar to the Linux Mint one. Oh, and one thing I noticed straight out of the box is the Firefox logo wasn't updated. But this is the, yeah, it's the Linux Mint Software Center software. That's the Ubuntu one that I'm thinking of. Not Software Center, Software Manager. I need to keep telling myself. I suppose, well, that's the Linux Mint Software Manager's fault that they obviously haven't updated the Firefox logo. So it looks like the Quantum one. Here we are. Right, so while we're waiting for Firefox to install, I'll also show you a different browser. This one is Vivaldi, and it's very nice. I believe it's based off of, don't know if it just launched then or not. There we are. It's based off of Opera, and it's basically, I remember reading up about it once. It's almost like a sort of free and open source, not-for-profit version of Opera. Basically what Opera used to be several years ago. And it's really nice. I mean, I used to use it as my main web browser for quite a while. That's before I started... Oh look, that icon's just changed. But yeah, that's before I started using obviously Mozilla Firefox, as I've got now. Let's launch this. I suppose it's just updated itself, so it's got the Quantum logo now. So as you can see, the Software Center works, and that's installed Firefox just fine. And as you can see, here is the theming integration. For example, we've got the obviously Software Manager in the back with this theme, and Firefox is carried over with the theme. As I mentioned, the first feature, it's got, what did I say? Improved application theming. Yeah, that's it. So if I open, for example, File Manager as well, I like that little animation that it does. So yeah, as you can see here, all three of these things have got the same theme, and that includes Firefox. So I do rather like that. Default keyring. And there's Vivaldi. Close both tabs. And the software manager. And I believe I clicked that twice, so there's now two of them. Let's close that one. Right, so here is... oh, for goodness sake, go away. Here is the Vivaldi browser, and it's very nice. I mean, you can choose a theme, like the Redmond one. Sort of reminds me of Windows XP. I quite like that. Olive. Dark theme. No, I prefer Redmond. And a picture. I like the waves. So as you can see, there are some similarities with Opera. Oh, and we also have a folder down here as well. So we can load up a website, for example the Feren OS website, and you can see how it loads at the top there. I mean, if I reload this, you can just see it slides across the top of the screen going right when it loads. I really do like that feature in Vivaldi. But I'm not here to do a review of Vivaldi, so let's get on. Now another thing that I really like is the themes, and luckily we've got a link to that on the desktop, although that has actually also got a link in the settings. And we've got quite a few themes. I mean, we've got Linux Mint, Windows 3.1, let's have a look at this. Oh, crikey. I quite like this one. Yeah, there we are. We've got the maximise and minimise icon, and then you need to click the top here to do anything with them. I haven't used Windows 3.1 in a while. Shall we see the Mac OS X one? Right, so here's the Mac OS X one. Oh, that's good. Oh, and down the bottom here. Oh, blimey now. That is really good, actually. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. Still got the start menu at the top there. You know what? That's actually pretty decent. I do like that. Because it's even got that effect where it where the icons maximise when you're hovering over them. Yeah, I really do like that one. And what else have we got? Windows XP. We all like Windows XP. Also notice that dialogue which just popped up saying it will obviously freeze for a while. That's also another thing that's been added, which I think is quite good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, and we've even got this thing at the bottom. That's nice. Let's go back to the Feren defaults now. Right, so I mean, I do prefer this theme. It does look very nice. So, I mean, there are a hell of a lot of applications on this, and I mean, it's got pretty much everything you would need for it to work on a day-to-day basis. We've got obviously LibreOffice. Is that a custom logo or is that the new one? I believe they're new logos that come with LibreOffice 6.0 or 6.x rather. And also, if I open the system settings, we should also see in there. Yeah, as you can see, we have got new icons in the settings, which is very nice. That is really... I like how how he or she has done that. That does look very modern indeed. And it does sort of remind me of the Ubuntu settings as well, which is quite nice because it adds a sort of familiar hint to it as well. And I believe that's basically it for this video, really. If you did enjoy this video, you can support my channel not by giving it any money, but by simply subscribing to it. And well, that basically brings us to the end. I will be taking a look at this OS as it develops, because I mean, I really like this, and I hope that manufacturers start putting it on systems by default, because this is just lovely. I really do like this system. Right, so thank you once again, and until next time, goodbye.